Hi everyone, welcome to this week's NAOL review. My name is Albert. I'll be reviewing 3 games from single-digit Q games. If you're in the review and have questions, just feel free to speak up. If I don't see your comments, just unmute yourself and speak up. I'll spend about 20 minutes on each game, but if there are any questions, you can always ask them at the end, or if I mention something. So I'll just disable AI review for now so we can focus on the more important points. This is a very complicated Joseki. It's hard to go over everything, especially I think for Q players. Honestly, I don't even know the full ins and outs of it. But suffice to say, the key point in this shape is that black needs to jump here. If you choose to play a more complicated Joseki, you have to be comfortable with playing this jump. Because of the ladder issue, white cannot push and cut right now. So basically later the fight will revolve around defending this cut in a more efficient way. So if white just turn, black can actually just respond locally because these are overly bad exchanges. And later, even if white push cut, black can just take some losses and crawl the second line because white's corner is also not completely settled yet. So white has to be careful about balancing both. Yeah, so black made this early mistake, which should allow white to gain some advantage. The key point here is white destroy black shape here, so now white can actually keep attacking. This is a very powerful seal and a good Tetsuji to remember. Now locally, it's very hard for black to escape. So if black bump, white can just extend. There could be some sort of capturing race, but you can see white has 5 liberties and black also has 5, but white can get the first move. Even if black has to rely on this type of cut, I think it's still more favorable for white. Yeah, at the very least, this is a ko. And notice white might even be able to extend ko threats first, or extend liberty first. So I think white should choose to seal here first. Yeah, so I think black avoided the worst because now black is able to escape. But notice compared to the other variation, black still spent an extra move defending the right side. So now when white makes this cut, black is cut off. There's nothing black can do. These 2 stones are already dead. Yeah, so here's white's first major problem. I think if we look at the review, this is the point in the game where white really fell off. And the reason is white didn't maximize the result. So right now the bottom 2 stones are cut off, but white can actually do even better. So here in the game, black is able to complete a very nice seal. So actually this result is not that bad for black because black got a really nice seal and white's corner is no longer that big. If you count 6, 7, 8, this is 10, 11, 12, 14. This is around maybe 20 points. And they start out as white's corner. Black has a solid almost 20 points on the right side. There is a cutting point in the middle, but it's not like white got some very impressive looking 40-point territory. This is just 20 points. And as a good rule of thumb, if you ever have to capture a few stones and your opponent achieve a really nice squeeze, especially at the beginning, is rarely good for you. And this is a classic example of that. So it went from white having an overwhelming advantage at this point to now the game being about even. Because white allowed black to get the squeeze. So don't get complacent when your opponent make a mistake and you can profit. You have to make sure you maximize the benefit. So in this case, white has to keep fighting. It doesn't matter. This center push doesn't have implication in the corner. White can still capture these 2 stones. So that's not a problem. Yeah, so let's keep looking. So some Joseki choice. I think for now, white should definitely keep extending towards the right side because this is black's base. From black's perspective, the right side is black's base, and especially when white makes his tiger mouse, it puts less pressure on the corner. So black can definitely take sente and approach the side, whether it's here or just defend the corner more. One thing to note is as long as this stone is not at the connection point, it's pretty feasible for black to tenuki. So that's why you don't see professional players play the tiger's mouth anymore because black can actually tenuki. Black there's not a very severe follow-up compared to the connection. If white plays here, black can at least make one Atari. And white shape is a little bit awkward. Black can either play here or extending out, depending on the situation. Yeah, I guess these are all more minor. So this is not a standard Joseki sequence. I would say the issue is from white's perspective, actually. So black approach here, obviously this is an empty corner, so it's a big point. It's very reasonable to take in the opening. The other area is obviously the top right, because this is black's base. If white can take the 3-3 and take the corner territory, black wouldn't have much on the upper side in the corner anymore. So these are the two major areas to fight over. And white has a good base in the bottom too. So if white can get something in the bottom, that'll be valuable. The least valuable area is actually black's left side. Maybe it's very famous that as soon as you make a third space extension towards the side, that side pretty much becomes very kind of barren. The value really starts to drop. There's a marginal value of playing more moves because the territory will be very flat. So compare the invasion to just a simple Kosumi. If black wants to defend the left side, black will make some sort of extension, whether it's here or here or here. It doesn't matter too much. It's very hard for black to make territory above the third line. And notice, even if white just continue to respond here locally, white will always make the same, if not more, territory in the bottom. It's hard for white to make, let's say, territory to the fifth line, but because white's bottom right corner is so strong with the M3 stone there, it's pretty easy for white to get at least this area. And that will more than cancel out black's gain on that area. So I guess long story short, in terms of the direction of play, I would recommend white to approach from. Just defend the corner on this side. And of course, because we can see both sides hard to get territory above the third line, so it might be a good time to try to get Sente or even Tenyuki, just take away the other big point. It's hard for black to play something that's super valuable right now. Yeah, so this Kosumi is more of a slow move. It's hard for white to make a strong attack right now, so it's not in a good position. White's not in a position to be on the attacking side, so the focus should be on settling the weak group. And that's another reason why I think invading or this pincer may not be the best timing, because it's very easy for white to end up in Gote. Yeah, so here is a good opportunity for black. The B3 move already guaranteed an eye on the left side, so black is quite a bit stronger than before. And black also has a center strength, this wall right here. So obviously black is on the attacking side. Black should attack and pincer. If white jumps, black can continue to fight in the center. So black profit a little bit on the left side, and white is not alive. If we compare the thickness on the left side, black is clearly the stronger side. And through this sequence, black will also compress the bottom side a little bit. Yeah, maybe black thinks this exchange is good after the pincer, but in most likelihood, it just strengthens white. And notice, even after the B7 move, black still doesn't quite have two eyes on the left. If you see an exchange like this, black has to rely on the center eye to make the second eye. Locally, black can make two eyes in this area alone. So B7 doesn't do much.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Oh, are you one of the players here? If there's a part of the game you want to focus more on, I'm happy to jump to that.
No, somehow I thought my game was going to be last to be reviewed, but
oh, I see. Yeah, so I guess sometimes there's an order.
A few minutes late.
Were you the black player or white?
I was playing white.
Okay, so the very first thing that I've noticed, you allow black to get the squeeze here, and that basically blew your advantage in this corner by killing the two stones. So it was going well for you, but allowing the squeeze basically gave that advantage away. You can just keep fighting. Just don't get sealed in somehow.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
It wouldn't. This doesn't matter to the bottom side. You can still capture these two stones.
Okay.
Yeah, this is pretty good for you.
Right.
Yeah, just notice as long as your center group is on the outside, black is actually super weak on the everywhere. So if let's say black
Right.
somehow captured this zone, you can this is an attack. This is not invasion.
Yeah.
This is a pincer against the black group. Black is not alive here, so you will
Right.
definitely have the initiative throughout the whole game.
Okay.
Yeah. So on the left side, I think black makes some bad exchanges, so the game is now tipping favor to white.
Yep.
An interesting thing to note is this corner. So it's hard for white to get as much territory on the upper side, and we know that corner is bigger than the side, which is bigger than the center. Right now, at the outside, it's pretty much settled. It's hard for either side to get a lot on the side or the center. So it might be time to go for be more greedy in the corner. So just take away the
I
3/3
see.
directly.
Okay. Okay.
So black will probably block on this side to defend the side territory. And you probably all know, like, one of these Joseki, it doesn't really matter which one, it's all similar. You get maybe slightly less points, fewer points in the side, but you get almost 10 points in the corner. And black,
Right.
compared to the game, is losing out this whole area, which is worth
Right.
another 20 points. So so in net, you're gaining probably 20 points in territory relative to the game.
Wow. Wow. That's great to think about.
Yeah, so if your goal is to maximize territory, which you
Yeah,
probably are right now, it's
that's what my
always 3/3.
teacher that's what my teacher always says is that I'm really terrible at invasions. Either I do them way too soon or I do them too late or even so late that I won't even try them.
Uh-huh.
And it's something I've been really having a hard time figuring out the timing and stuff like that. So your idea of that now is the time is very, very timely.
Yeah, I think you can not think of it just as taking another big point. Like 3/3 is very standard. You can just
Okay.
take the corner, take the points. Right now,
Yeah.
because the outside is so developed, if the left side and the bottom are very empty, then giving black the wall will give you, you have to think more about how to reduce it. But now, after all this exchange, black can't really get anything in the center because
Right.
it's already so narrow. There's nowhere for black to expand into. So
Right.
it's definitely a no-brainer to maximize the corner territory.
Yep.
So black, I would say, played pretty well here, actually. He knew he's not going to get much, right? If you play a normal looking Joseki move like this, it will be super slow, too concentrated. So he chose to maximize the corner territory. This is a great idea.
Right.
Another common way is the bump. But I guess the bump also helped you. So I think this is a good move. Another possibility is maybe here.
Right.
So now in the game, you kind of let black off the hook here because black just got the entire corner in the side. And even he dared to play a fifth line move. If black jumps, then it's probably hard to invade. But he went even greedier too on the fifth line.
Right.
If you just play moves like this, then you would just give black like 4 more points, which is a big deal. So here, it's definitely time for you to think about a counterattack. So there's definitely some sort of weakness in the corner. I would say this is worth spending time to figure out how to play this.
Wow. That never even would have occurred to me.
Yeah, so let's see. If black just try to seal you in the corner, the Hane, you probably can make something happen here. Whether it's just pushing it again or even blocking, this is technically alive already. But you could probably want to keep pushing.
Right.
It looks like there should be some Aji. Why should have something here?
Okay.
And if black blocks here, I think this bump will be interesting. If black connects, then you can block here, and now there's a cutting point. So the weakness of the earlier Keima is now very obvious.
Ah, okay.
Here, I think both players kind of lost a sense of direction. When you play moves like this, you're still leaving the bottom vulnerable to attack. If black plays a Kmart here, you can't really connect the whole group. So your shape will be kind of broken. If you defend here, black can easily separate this area.
Right.
And if you play here to save this stone, then black can easily destroy your bottom side. So you're leaving your shape vulnerable to attack. If you really want to do something in the bottom, you have to make sure your shape is more cohesive. So let's say start from here.
That one would have been much better. Okay.
Yeah, so black can still theoretically invade, but you can at least focus on attacking. And you don't have a group that's being cut off. If you play here and you get cut off like this, the shape is kind of broken. Now the K6 stone is almost like useless.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but in the game, I think black played really slow, which is probably why you end up winning, and you reestablish your advantage.
Yeah.
So you got the entire bottom, also strengthen your left side, and you also started with a slight territory advantage. So this just really worked out for you. For black definitely has to do something to destroy your shape, and even locally, black is alive here. So there's no reason for black to be afraid of fighting. Right. Even if you seal black on the outside, black is still alive.
Well, see, maybe I was just too greedy. My idea with the K6 stone was I was aiming at possibly at some point getting the cut at O10.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, because this is a very glaring weakness in black shape.
But since he had 5 stones in a row, and I didn't think of him as being that weak in the corner, and it seemed hard unless I pushed pretty fast to get a situation where I might eventually have that cut.
Right, I think you're exactly right there.
That's what my thinking was, and that's why I didn't worry that much about the bottom, and I probably should have.
Yeah, I think I'll flip your reasoning the other way and ask the question that what are you trying to gain by cutting? So you either have to get some territory or kill a group to profit.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that if I can make, by having some stones in the middle, if when I do the actual cut, I was thinking then that wall would become a weak group, and I might be able to capitalize on it at the top. That's sort of the way I was thinking when I played K6.
Yeah, I think you'll be fine if it's more connected to this side, like it just move a little bit.
Right.
Or if you play on this side, I think it's also reasonable. Yeah, okay. Just you can't. Okay. It's not time to cut directly yet.
No. I didn't think it was time right now, but I just wanted to get enough stones around to where he would start getting nervous about that cut.
Yeah, I think black did, so he kind of fell into your trap. So black doesn't quite have enough, and you left some weaknesses here. So last point I'll mention is there's some issue here.
Right. Well, he actually did that a little bit later, but things were a little stronger to the right of that 3 stone by the time he actually did that.
Yeah, and just note that when something like this happens, it's not like black's gonna capture you, but rather you might just lose some points. So for example, if you Atari here, black can already turn, and you already lost 2 points in this area. And this cut doesn't lose black any points. So you already lost 2, and then now black can even cut here to separate the center stone. So in all likelihood, you're better off just blocking. And if black want to play here later, it's probably Gote. And if you can have time later, you can take this. It's a very big endgame compared to even this Tiger's Mouth is probably bigger to play here. Set aside the point that maybe you can get something in this area. And then, of course, the corner is bigger. But just looking at the local area in the center and the bottom, you probably want to play here.
Okay.
I'll quickly look through. Wow, so black end up getting a lot on the right side actually.
Yeah. Well, actually, believe it or not, I actually lost this game. What happened is
Oh,
I
at the
got to
very
a
end.
point where I
Oh,
was counting, and I
oh, that's right. This
while I
last
was
Atari.
counting, I got a phone call from my dentist because I had a root canal problem. And so I spent some time talking to them, and I didn't even notice that they had played the D15. So,
Oh, this is tragic.
yeah, I know, because otherwise it was, when I
Yeah,
finished
you're
my counting and everything,
pretty
I had to
comfortably ahead.
restart my counting and everything. I had plenty of time at this point. I was like 10 or 15 minutes ahead on time. But tragically, in addition to taking the time to count, I took the phone call. So, I sort of ended up losing a one game.
Wow. Yeah.
But it's, I'm not, with these games, I'm not that worried about winning or losing.
Yeah, more about the
I'm
practice.
worried about learning something and getting things reviewed by somebody really strong.
Yeah, I think the main point for you maybe is to play more proactively and think about the profit. So here, your moves are just a little bit slower, like even with this Tiger's Mouth, you're not getting much territory and neither side is in danger. So you might as well
Okay.
try to profit more. Or shore up your weakest side, which is the top. So
Sure.
like here.
Yeah.
If not, thinking about how to invade. I'll say be very sensitive when your opponent play unusual moves like this. Think about how you can punish them. Because if you
Okay.
can't, then they just got an extra bonus and you're at a
Right.
disadvantage now.
Okay.
So this is why a move like this will start usually a big fight. If you have the black player here, you have to be prepared
Yeah.
for white's
I
invasion.
was curious why you started with this game first, because in Milan's email, my game was supposed to be the last to be reviewed.
I think sometimes it's not necessarily in the exact order. Like if I open all three games at once, so I guess the first game will be this game, but it's actually this the third game is closest to my email. So
Ah.
when I start, it's not necessarily the same order.
Okay. Well, I know some of the other players, so I'm certainly interested in watching the other
Yeah,
reviews as
I'll
well.
just keep going. I think this is the actual first game on the list. Yeah, opening is nothing much going on. Here, I think the invasion is a good point to think about the timing.
Uh-huh.
So white took the corner is pretty nice. White can make this push anytime. So the right side is not super big. So
Uh-huh.
the Moyo fight is between the bottom left white group and then the upper side. So white has more right now. I think there's
Yeah.
no reason for white to invade so early. White can just keep
Right.
expanding.
Yeah.
Maybe black will keep expanding, but it looks like white has even more. So white should
Yeah.
wait for black to invade rather than the other way around.
Right.
Okay, so this happened. Not the end of the world, honestly. The biggest issue is actually black didn't attack properly.
that's that's what I thought when I looked at this game, because I know Vivian reasonably well,
Ah,
and I thought Black was really letting her off the hook.
honestly, this sequence so far is fine. So when you're attacking, you should know that you're not expecting to get everything.
Right. Yeah.
And your opponent will live. So just the question is, how do you maximize your own efficiency?
Right.
So here, white is not destroy some point, but white didn't kill anything. So
Right.
black can just change direction and move. Let's say move on to the bottom side. You can think of it as black have a sente seal almost, right? If what black plays a move around here, you would expect white to connect.
Yeah.
So in a way, black had a decently strong wall towards the right side in the center.
Okay.
So black can just shift the potential of the moyo to the right side.
Huh.
That's why when you invade too early, it doesn't always mean you're destroying point because you just shift your opponent moyo somewhere else.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, of course, black doesn't have to play this right away. Black can later still block and take the, let's say, 10 points territory right here.
Right.
And if at some point white has to, jump out, then it's kind of like a dominant move. It doesn't do too much besides reducing
Right.
black. White is not gaining any territory. And if white through some sort of fighting, let's say this side becomes really strong, white has to make another move here.
Right.
This move is worth not that many points. It's decently
Right.
big, but 10 points or so, but it's not a big, even not a big end game or like a mid game. It's not like an opening move where it can be worth 20 points.
Right.
So if by forcing white to connect, it could be a profitable enough attack already. So this is, you have to do attack a little more indirectly. So that's a good strategy to have. So maybe black block a little bit too early without having a firm plan.
Right.
Yeah, here I think is another opportunity for black to pivot, because the direction black is attacking is towards the right side, and black's wall here is weaker now because black doesn't have eye, so black has to make moves around here. But the top left is very strong, so if anything, black has to go from this side. So now black can develop the right side. Even if black, no matter how many moves white play here, it's all dame, and it's all against a very strong wall in the top.
Right.
So this will be the better direction. So we don't know how many points these zones are worth, but they're worth something. But these are worth nothing. They're just in the middle of two group. It makes 0 points, and this group is solid. It's
Sure.
very solid base. So nothing will happen to that. Yeah, and when you're attacking, you don't want to make random exchanges. I think this push will fall under that category. I don't think black had a firm plan when making that exchange.
Right.
Okay, so now this game finally settled a little bit. I think white should push here just because it's a little stronger move, and now maybe can consider the cut. When you make cuts like this, it doesn't always mean it will survive. It just, you want to create some aji. Right now, there's definitely enough aji for white to play with. Black try to do something like this. Notice white can potentially connect at S12. So black has to be careful, otherwise the whole group will be in danger.
Right.
Yeah, so I think this Hane might be kind of an overplay. Black will probably just extend, and then white can push again and think of something else.
Right.
Yeah, so there's more space. Yeah, so another series of exchanges. This time the bottom. What's your guess on which side is better here? Since you might be the only one online. Like your first instinct. Is black more comfortable in the bottom left, or is white more comfortable?
In the left area?
Yeah,
white
in
more
this corner.
comfortable. White is more comfortable. I mean, black's just survived, basically.
Right.
So
So this invasion is
totally
fine
surrounded.
at time, but it is a little bit early.
Right.
So right now there's still a lot of moves to play, and black live a pretty small corner.
Right.
Perhaps it's better for black to extend here and to try to fight. White gets more points in the corner, but black is kind of stronger in the center. So if black can start a fight this way, it's possible black can profit more like this. I think the focus of the game is there's some... Oh yeah, so this is the key moment of the game. Yeah, this fight decided the outcome. So right now, we can think of white's group as relatively stable. I think because white made the K18 Hane. So if white can definitely live here or escape. So the center group is pretty safe. So the focus in the bottom right corner, how to invade this area. In the game, white play here and invade it here.
Right.
So obviously the clear point is this invasion. I think white can be satisfied with this because this exposes clear weaknesses in the corner. It would be pretty easy for white to just live like this. Yeah, and this will be a pretty good outcome. If black try to defend the corner, whether it's here or here, white can just capture M3. So this will be a very simple and successful invasion. This shoulder hit is more unusual. You probably only want to play it for ladder breaking or a co-threat. because black can just connect. It's hard for white to find a follow-up. Well, even if black blocks from here, white still lacks a meaningful follow-up. If white Kasumi, then the p4 exchange just seemed bad relative to just invading at 03.
Right, sure.
This game, there's more reading in this key fight, so I'll go over that. Here, if you ever see a shape like this, your instinct should always be the Atari. Because if you can force the Atari connect exchange, you're gaining almost one entire move by denying your opponent the Sente Tiger's Mouth that black got in the game. So this is a huge difference.
Right.
So in pro games or strong players game, oftentimes what you will see is after this Atari, black will have to find co-threat or start a ko. So this is a very important thing to remember. In the game, white doesn't feel comfortable doing that, so white play here, and black got the vital point. So this is black losing move, basically. Black didn't choose to kill. Yeah, this Tiger's Mouth will, I'm pretty sure, kill the whole group. Capturing 2 stones is only 1 eye.
Right.
And it's hard for white to find a second eye because black is so strong locally.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so at this point, if white can read everything, it's probably time to play something more unusual. And maybe white has to sacrifice this side, but and connect the rest back.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, somehow white has to make an extra exchange to guarantee that this is a live shape.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so this is pretty successful for black, except for the fact that at this point, black Atari, and which will give white a chance to escape.
Uh-huh.
But white didn't do that, and I think the most puzzling move is black Tenuki. If
Oh,
black just
wow.
play here, this is like a 40-point corner.
Huh.
But black didn't. And a few moves later, white actually killed the entire group. Yeah, so now the entire side is captured. So there's no way for black to recover from that. Because this whole area should be black's territory, and now it became white's about 30 points.
Wow.
Yeah, so I won't even cover the latest bit. I'll say a little bit about the left side. So of course, if we ignore the bottom right, the 40-point corner, this shoulder hit is a big move because it reduces white's potential on the left side.
Sure.
But the follow-up is a little more questionable. So right now, black Hane, but black really just needs to extend or jump. The goal of a shoulder hit is never to kill. If you want to kill this group, you have to invade here and take away the eye shape. By playing this and Hane, you leave yourself with a very obvious weakness.
Huh.
And at this point, white has a few options. I think here is definitely one way, but white can try to save the center stone. Yeah, because white, there's some weaknesses in this area. Oh, and actually this is directly ladder. So if white can make this exchange, this is dead. So notice this is a ladder, and at the end, black had to capture here. And this is a capture. So be aware of shape weaknesses like that. So black can't extend too peacefully. If black Hane, let's say, white has Sente move around here, so white can just cut. It looks risky for black, actually. Yeah, this looks risky for black. Another angle one offer, if let's say even that variation favors black, maybe white can actually sacrifice a corner. So did black gain a lot? Yes, but it's white gets Sente here.
Right.
And also gain quite a bit on the left side. So maybe black gained 20 in the corner. But white got Sente. And most importantly, white got rid of a weak group. Sometimes the best way to sabaki or deal with the weak group is to make sure it dies. So you don't have to worry about whether it lives again. So now as a trade, you kind of sold off this weak corner for another 20-point corner. And now you can take Sente and expand to the center. So in a different game, I think this will be very powerful for white. In this game, white probably has an even stronger response, but in a separate scenario, you can see if black has more stones, it's hard to fight directly. Maybe white can just sacrifice everything. Losing 2 stones like that for black is a huge loss too, because before black can just jump, and now white's territory will be compressed to the 2nd and 3rd line.
Right.
Like white will be pressed here, but by capturing the 2 stones, white expanded to the 5th line and now even to the center with Sente. So this is 1 Sente and then now a lot more points here.
Right.
So sometimes you're gaining as much in this area than losing the whole corner, as much in the side than the corner. So that's why just sacrificing the stones is a very good decision. Yeah, somewhat of a shorter highlight for this game, but because the focus is really on the bottom right, and somehow white just won that huge contest without much of an effort from black. Even at this point, black can always at least try something here. Even 1 Sente move like this. This will be very valuable because that gives this Atari, and now black maybe cause some trouble here in the center. So in the game, white basically captured that in Sente, even making this Sente push, and black even responded. So white spent 1 move and captured everything. Yeah, so I think pretty tragic for black. So that's the reading aspect. And throughout the fight, I think both sides have a few points where they consider different tactics and consider various trade-offs. So black in the upper fight when white invaded, and white when black tried to Hane and start a fight on the left. Maybe there's other moves to consider. Cool. So I'll move on to the last game, but I'll be happy to come back to any of the games if there are questions. All right. So pretty standard opening. Nothing much to say in the first 2 corners. Yeah. So black got an early advantage because this corner ended up pretty well for black. I think white made some shape issues. So right now you can see clearly black has a 3rd space extension, 3rd space extension. So from what we saw in the previous 2 games, we know that the side will be the value of the side is now greatly reduced. So neither side can really get much here. So the corner territory will be gold. So white should definitely prioritize the corner here. If white wants to expand to the side, then it will be to the right side. Maybe or attach is possible too. The top it's also possible, but notice it's 2 3rd space extension. So it's much harder to develop that side versus this side. And of course, there's an empty corner. So if I white, I think I'll play maybe a Sente. Let's say I attach in Sente, just profit a little bit, and then make this enclosure. The problem with any sort of side extension, especially in this age of AI, is you can always play 3-3. And the resulting sequence, your extension zone, will always look kind of over-concentrated. So this is a case like that too. I'll say white is better out blocking here. A good rule of thumb is if your extension zones are within 2 space, like this, like 2 space, not 3, you can even 3 space, like 2 to 3, like 1 space to 3 space, you can consider blocking the opposite side of your extension. So here you can just block. This is a good tiger smile. In the game sequence, white can also consider blocking here. In this type of extension, when it's more narrow, more closer to the corner, your extension zone will help after to deal with the 3-3 invasion. So this shape is pretty reasonable for white. It will be fine. In the game sequence, white is very over-concentrated. Yeah, and of course, black make this exchange. It's definitely gote. White has to Tenuki. If the earlier exchange is just being slightly over concentrated, this move really set white back a lot. Yeah, it's not even a good shape of the tiger's mouth. The connecting is really inefficient. So in the ideal scenario, black will tenuki after this point. Even though the game sequence is good for black, black should not expect to get this sequence in sente. So a more reasonable exchange will be like this. Yeah, so this is the same mistake, a very common mistake. So the bottom side is very low value, it's pretty barren. So you want to take the more valuable side, which is here. And notice if you take this, the right side, black can keep infiltrating. So do something here. Yeah, take away this space somehow. And now white's wall, white's thickness is floating. So white will have to play move in the center, which is less valuable. So black can almost get the right side in sente. And if white can expand to the corner, white can continue to put pressure in this area. And see, after even just a few exchanges, you can see the scale white's potential on the right side. This is very different from what white can do in the top and in the bottom. Yeah, so I'm not sure why continue in the bottom left. In reality, black just need to extend here. Yeah, if you just play a few moves, white is very over concentrated here, and black still has a solid base. The Hane left black vulnerable to the cut. If white can cut here, this will be a good opportunity to start a fight and maybe make some profit back. So head of two zones, you want to play it, but you most want to play head of two zone when your opponent is weak and you're strong. So right now white is a lot stronger, and especially with the stone at g4. So this is not exactly head of two stone anymore because there's a stone at g4. So you're just giving your opponent the tiger's mouth. And of course, white should cut. So now black will have some liberty shortage. Now, interesting sequence here. If white wants to fight, I think this timing would just be cut directly. When white wait a turn and just invade here, the efficacy is now much lower. Because now the only thing white can achieve is to destroy the territory in this area, which is not even 10 points. And worst of all, this stone might end up being a liability. So this is a bad idea. Yeah, at this point, focus on the big point. It's still early. And if you try to invade, we have to make sure that you can really profit. And the thickness is on your side, so you have to be stronger. Right now, it's unclear if white is stronger. And even if white destroyed this area, it's unclear how white is profiting from it. Because let's say black just naturally extend toward the center, it looks like white's territory or potential on the right side and the left side is destroyed. Yeah, and notice if white wants to attack this black group, white has to make a move around M2. So let's say black responds by playing L2 and something happens here. This exchange already gave up the few points that white destroyed because now black is this tiger's mouth, and this is worth probably almost a komi against the white side. So white destroyed here maybe 6 or 7 points, but by giving black J2, white basically destroyed as many points of his own territory than the opponent's. So it's a risky strategy. Yeah, that's why if white really wants to exploit this area, the cut has to be the starting point. Otherwise, black shape is pretty strong. Yeah, so fast forward a little bit. Yeah, so 2 key points. I think both sides often tenuki at interesting points. Right now, somehow black allow white to get this panuki. If this is really a concern, black want to take this point, then black can just just jump once and then come back to this approach. There's no reason to leave a stone hanging
Right.
and then tenuki. So at this stage, I don't think it's a Byoyomi problem. It's just a matter of having the bigger picture in mind. So right now, your opponent make these exchanges. It's probably just a better idea to extend or to connect or extend. Just finish a shape here, and then think about tenuki.
Right.
I think the most important part of White's strategy this game is White really spent a lot of moves in the bottom left trying to get territory, but ultimately that didn't yield very much. So this is another example. Right now, White lost all four corners, so White cannot really stay in the game by. This is literally 10 points, by getting 10 points in the center. So notice this is about the same as Black's corner. So this will not put White back in the game. White has to do something, whether it's doing something in the corner or expanding the upper side or somehow later attack this middle group. And instead, White chose a very passive way to get territory. Yeah, so I think Black did a decent strategy here by sacrificing one stone, get the Sente Atari, and fix the shape. It's definitely a little passive just because Black is connected from here. Or if Black can make this Hane exchange, it's attack with mouth. This is even stronger. So if even the center is caught up, Black has a backup plan. So Black can probably just tenuki. Now, the final problem for White is White continue to play in this area. I'm not really super sure why. It's definitely Gote, of course. Now the upper side is very valuable. Black can just extend. On the left side, just really nothing much here. Even if White destroyed this area, it's barely worth 10 points. And even if White tenuki, it's not like Black will play here right away. Because there's still important thing to consider on the right side. Like, is this group really settled yet? It still looks a little weak. And of course, this corner is still fairly open. Black want to keep expanding it. Yeah, so White really played quite passively here, and Black too, wasted a lot of moves. And ultimately, White was able to make the final extension. But at this point, Black is already comfortably ahead because Black got all four corners, and White spent a lot of moves of not getting much in return. So overall, I think both sides played pretty slow in the fight, but Black got the more valuable parts by just holding four corners and make sure nothing big happens. And I guess from that perspective, Black has a good strategy. So held four corners and make sure White couldn't do something too crazy. Yeah, so if the game is very peaceful and you hold four corners from the beginning without major blunders, you'll probably be ahead. Especially since White only made very small territories like this while Black continued to expand the corner. Yeah, so a little bit later, I just want to show how important the corner is. At the beginning of the game, this is just one Shimari, but later expanded. This is almost 30 points now, about 30 points. This is the biggest territory on the board, but just a short while ago, it's only 3 stones. Or yeah, if it's just 3 moves, and it expanded into like a behemoth of a corner. And in that corner, just kind of canceled out most of White's territory on the board.
Yeah.
So that's the power of holding the corner, because through middle game and end game, the corner will just expand little by little. For example, this peep is a good Tetsuji that Black found. It greatly expanded the right side by getting this Sente Hane. So knowing that, now White's strategy in the top is kind of dubious. So it's tempting to like do this to maximize the territory, but notice by trying to get the center territory, you're oftentimes giving up a lot more in return. So
Yeah.
white want to defend this. So now when black jumped here, do you block or do you not block? If this is not your territory, if you let's say play here and black jumped, you look left, you look right, oh, both sides are probably safe. You can tenuki. But if the center is your territory, now this is liability. When black plays here, you want to defend your territory again. You want to block. So black gets another sente endgame. So this sente is almost, it's probably also around 10 points. That is more than what white gained the center.
Yep.
And if we look at what black gained on the right side later, then we can probably see, actually this is the biggest move. So now white has a solid 10 points here, and now this clamp will give white another 10 points, maybe even sente. So this Hane Connect, in effect, is about a 20-point move compared to what happened in the game. So I don't think white would be down by as much if white can just hold the right side. Yeah, and if we go by even more, we know that this move is probably a little bit of a slow move, and same with this move because the right side is so valuable. Imagine if black invades right away. White probably can extend because of this push cut Aji. So white will block here and black can Hane. This is another sente. If white doesn't respond well enough, this whole group could be in danger.
Yep.
Now locally, I think white can probably find eye, but see, this is a very painful 2 eyes. So we can even back up a step to say if this is a sente move, then basically none of the center or the upper side matter. White has to defend right away. That's how valuable it is. Yeah, so at this point, if white knows the shape issue, I think maybe white wouldn't try to bump here. White can just continue. And the right side, black can profit, but it wouldn't be so bad. And notice the bump the kick really helped black solidify the side of the corner. Without that move, white will always have the option to invade. And after that kick, it becomes really hard. Yeah, so kind of an unfortunate game for white. White played pretty slow and ultimately lost by quite a bit. Yeah, like 40 points. It's interesting because black didn't kill anything. It just seemed like a peaceful game that gradually progressed, and white just lost more and more initiative gradually until it became a very huge disadvantage. Yeah, and made some reading mistakes, so lost another 20 points. So basically it's a peaceful loss of 20 points plus another endgame blunder. So at this point black is up by about 20 without killing anything significant. Yeah, actually black didn't capture a single stone up until this point.
Wow.
Yeah, but just casually 20 points ahead because black has this 30 plus point corner.
Right.
Yeah, the top right is basically black's margin of victory.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I guess black must feel good playing this game because you don't have to do anything and it just seemed like everything is in control and your opponent just fall more and more behind.
Right.
Yeah, white did have some chances earlier because the Panuki was a big moment. White definitely gained some, and then later too, but there's some inaccuracy. But gradually, white just was not able to find profit. Yeah, so at this point, white just allowed the corner to become too big. Yeah, I don't know if there are other people online, if there are any other questions, but I just walked through the 3 games briefly.
Yeah, you could probably end the recording here. I'd like to just chat with you for a few minutes.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, thank you all for your attention. Best of luck in the coming rounds.